All right, last chapter. Okay, so animal development begins with reproduction. So when we're talking about multicellular life, okay, not every cell in the multicellular life actually usually reproduces. Usually, only certain things reproduce, like the sperm and egg. Okay, so reproduction. So some animals can reproduce asexually. Okay, so like some some animals, like especially simpler animals like sponges, jellyfish, hydras, they can really just break off a chunk of themselves, and that chunk will grow into a whole new organism, and that is great because it makes it easy. But the problem is that they're genetically identical to each other, and so there's no new genetic information. Okay. Also, occasionally, more complicated organisms can actually reproduce asexually. Unfertilized eggs of bees, aphids, and stuff can turn into asexually produced adults. Uh, like for example, in bees, unfertilized eggs will turn into females. Okay, fertilized eggs will turn into males. Okay, but that's not really common. Asexual reproduction requires minimal energy and is advantageous in environments that don't change much over time, like the bottom of the ocean, for example. Okay, sexual reproduction is more common amongst animals. Okay, sexual reproduction requires two parents. Okay. Okay. To do that, we produce haploid gamete cells. Haploid means half the DNA, and then gametes are sperm and eggs. Okay. Fertilization can take place externally. Okay. The male sea urchin, for example, is releasing sperm in the water. In birds, the egg is laying an egg, and the male kind of ejaculates on top of it, etc., and it penetrates the egg that way. It's not, the fertilization isn't internal, it's external. Okay. Okay. Internal fertilization occurs when the gametes sunlight inside the body before the parents. Okay. Development begins with the zygote. So zygote that begins to differentiate. Okay. Okay, development can be indirect or direct. Direct development. Actually, we talk about indirect on this page. Indirect development has an immature stage that looks very different from the adult. The classical example of this is the butterfly, the caterpillar and butterfly, right? The caterpillar goes through a stage that looks nothing like the adult. Okay, and generally, my entomology teacher, he taught to me this way: think of larvae as animated feeding tubes, and all they want to do is feed as much as they can, as fast as they can. The adults are animated mating tubes. All they want to do is mate as much as they can and lay as many eggs as they can. Okay. Direct development is each stage in an animal that looks like the previous stage. So okay, direct development is this, like the baby turtle looks more or less like the adult turtle, and there's not a lot of difference between the two, other than there are differences. The differences are slight. Okay. Okay. All right. So, what are the pros and cons of internal versus external fertilization? So, make sure you answer that. Okay. Reproductive systems produce and transport gametes. Okay, gametes are sex cells that meet at fertilization, so sperm and eggs. Okay. Okay, males have two testes in a sac called a scrotum. So in humans anyway, we have a sac called a scrotum. Inside the scrotal sac are the testes. The scrotum allows for the testes to be slightly less than body temperature. Okay, which allows the sperm to develop better. Okay. Okay, sperm, once they're made, okay, they are stored inside these long folded tubules called seminiferous tubules, okay, and then once they're secreted, they go up through this tube called the vas deferens, okay, so that's sperm, okay. The seminal vesicles secrete fluid that makes semen, okay. Okay, the prostate gland secretes an alkaline fluid that activates the sperm, okay, and then they travel through the ejaculatory duct, okay. Okay. So sperm development or spermatogenesis actually begins at puberty. So like before the age of 13, males don't make sperm, okay? But once you start making sperm, you'll always make sperm, okay? Even like 80, 90-year-olds are still making sperm. They make fewer sperm, but they're still making sperm, okay? Okay, so we'll skip primary, secondary, genesis. Okay, so each mature sperm, okay, has a flagella right here, has a bunch of mitochondria here, has a nucleus here, okay, and a chromosome here. The whole purpose is to get the chromosome to the egg. The chromosome has a bunch of enzymes that are for breaking down the egg. And so to penetrate the layers of the egg, it uses these enzymes on the surface here. Okay. And the whole name of the game is to get the nucleus inside the egg. Okay. All right, hormones influence male reproductive function. So GnRH controls GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, regulation production of LH and FSH, anterior pituitary. These two combine to release testosterone. Testosterone actually triggers spermatogenesis. Okay. All right, female gonads are the ovaries. Okay, so here's the ovary. The ovaries are surrounded by the finger-like extensions of a uterine tube. The other term that you guys will see for uterine tube is fallopian tube. Okay, ovaries. Okay, ovaries produce eggs and release them by ovulation. In females, egg production begins before birth. Okay, it pauses before birth and starts to resume as sexual maturity. Okay, every month between puberty and menopause, approximately 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 0 oocytes burst out of the ovary and travels to the uterus.